Never drink plain water after 60 without this one trick boosts blood flow fast. You have been told your whole life to drink 8 glasses of plain water a day to stay healthy. But here is a startling truth that modern medicine rarely mentions. If you are over the age of 60, chugging glass after glass of plain water might be the exact reason you are constantly exhausted. It might be the hidden reason your hands and feet are always cold and why your memory feels a little cloudy by mid-afternoon. For decades, we have been programmed with the same rigid rule. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. But as we gracefully cross into our golden years, the delicate rules of our biology change. Plain water is essentially dead stripped of the vital essence it once carried in nature. You force down the water to keep your mind sharp and your joints fluid, yet you drink and you drink, but your mouth still feels dry. You wake up at 2 in the morning, forced out of your warm bed to use the bathroom, interrupting the deep restorative sleep your brain desperately craves. You are flushing your system, but you are not actually hydrating your cells. Think about how your beautiful, resilient body feels right now. Perhaps there is a dull ache in your lower back, a stubborn stiffness in your knuckles, or a heavy fatigue that settles behind your eyes long before the sun goes down. Your doctor might say you are fine, but you know in your bones something is missing. You feel the icy chill in your fingertips, the struggle to get your feet warm under the blankets, and that frustrating fog that rolls over your thoughts. You might have quietly accepted this as just a normal part of getting older. You might have told yourself, this is just what happens. But what if your body isn't simply breaking down? What if it is just a beautiful vintage engine trying to run without the proper kind of oil? What if your blood has become thick and sluggish, struggling to flow through the delicate winding pathways of your body? Today, we are going to change that. We are going to look at one simple ancient trick, a tiny overlooked addition to your morning water that instantly transforms it from a lifeless liquid into a vibrant rushing river, boosting your blood flow in a matter of minutes. Let us take a quiet moment to understand why that clear glass of water, the one sitting right there on your kitchen counter, might be betraying you. For years, you have diligently followed the rules. You measured the ounces, forcing down 8 tall glasses a day, hoping it would finally wash away the morning stiffness and that lingering afternoon fatigue. You trusted the advice, but your body has been quietly telling you a different story. To understand why, we must look at the fascinating science of how our bodies change. The advice to drink 8 glasses a day was originally based on historical observations of young, highly active populations, not on the delicate and changing biology of a mature adult. In our youth, the outer walls of our cells are flexible, highly permeable, and easily absorb plain H2O. However, as we cross the threshold of 60, a natural biological shift occurs. The lipid bilayer of the cellular membrane becomes more rigid and less porous. When you drink large volumes of plain, heavily filtered, demineralized water, it lacks the specific electrical keys required to unlock these aged cellular barriers. Instead of being drawn deep into the tissues where it is desperately needed, the water is rejected. It pools in the extracellular spaces and bypasses your vital organs entirely. It flushes rapidly through your digestive tract, overworking your kidneys and sending you rushing to the bathroom at all hours of the night. You are drinking constantly, yet your cells are slowly drying out from the inside. Imagine pouring a pitcher of fresh water over a patch of deeply cracked, sun-baked earth. The water does not sink down into the roots. It simply rolls right off the hardened surface, leaving the soil beneath, just as thirsty, just as desperate for nourishment. This is exactly what is happening inside your cardiovascular system. Because the water fails to enter the cells, your overall blood volume gradually decreases. As this liquid volume drops, your blood becomes thicker and far more viscous. Your heart must then pump significantly harder just to push this heavy, sluggish blood through miles of delicate circulatory pathways. The tiny microscopic capillaries in your brain, your hands and your feet are the very first to be deprived of crucial oxygen and healing nutrients. No wonder your fingers feel like ice on a winter morning. No wonder your knees ache and grind when you gently try to stand up from your favorite chair. Your brilliant body is simply rationing its available moisture. It is trying to keep your vital organs functioning while sacrificing the soft cushion in your joints and the comfortable warmth of your skin. You are trapped in an exhausting cycle of endless drinking and endless dehydration, leaving you feeling heavy, fatigued, and drained. Modern marketing has convinced us that plain empty water is the ultimate cure, but our ancestors understood a profound truth about hydration, a secret about living water that we have almost completely forgotten. Long before the invention of reverse osmosis and plastic water bottles, our ancestors understood that water by itself was not enough. They did not have the burden of modern chronic fatigue. They lived long, active lives tending to fields and walking for miles under the hot sun, all without that heavy, familiar ache that rests deep in your bones today. Their secret was not in how much they drank, but in the sacred vitality of what they poured into their cup. In ancient Mediterranean cultures and throughout biblical texts, there are frequent mentions of what was reverently called living water. This was not the stagnant, heavily processed liquid that flows from our modern kitchen taps. Living water came from rushing streams, deep earthen wells, and ancient mountain springs. As it cascaded over the rocks and soil, it naturally gathered the very life force of the planet. It absorbed a rich, complex matrix of earthborne elements. When these ancient people drank, they were not just swallowing a hollow liquid, they were drinking the earth's natural, vibrant medicine. But as our society modernized, we became obsessed with purification. We stripped these life-giving elements away, purifying our water until it became utterly empty and dead. The ancient healers, however, knew a profound intuitive secret to restoring this lost vitality. To resurrect dead water, they relied on two simple earth-given elements: a tiny pinch of raw, unrefined salt, harvested from the deep, untouched ocean or ancient salt caves, and a single bright drop of fresh citrus. You might remember the old stories of history. There was a time when a simple pouch of salt was considered far more valuable than gold. It was traded across vast empires and offered as a sacred, life-giving gift. We are not talking about the bleached, heavily processed table salt sitting in modern pantries today. That harsh, chemical-laden salt is highly toxic to your blood pressure and your delicate arteries. The ancients used whole, unrefined salt. These raw crystals held over 80 distinct trace minerals, a biological profile that perfectly mirrors the natural composition of human blood plasma. When they dissolved a single shimmering pinch of this crystalline sea salt and a gentle squeeze of lemon into their drinking vessels, they were performing a quiet act of cellular alchemy. They were creating the exact healing elixir that your tired, dehydrated cells are crying out for right now. It is a beautiful, deeply comforting ritual, one that takes less than 10 seconds in the quiet of your morning. Yet it holds the profound key to unlocking your circulation. Let us look at the precise biological magic that happens when you introduce these ancient elements to your morning glass. Modern science now perfectly understands what our ancestors knew by pure intuition. It all comes down to a fascinating physiological principle we can call liquid electricity. Your beautiful body is essentially a highly advanced electrical power plant. Every time your heart beats, every time you recall a fond memory, and every time you flex a muscle to rise from a chair, your brain sends a tiny electrical spark through your nervous system. But here is the critical fact that is often ignored. Electricity simply cannot travel through pure dead water. It absolutely requires natural conductors to carry the current. When you add a tiny pinch of unrefined mineral-rich sea salt to your water, you are instantly infusing it with vital electrolytes. We are talking about critical minerals like magnesium, potassium, and calcium. As soon as they hit the water, these microscopic minerals dissolve and become highly conductive ions. Suddenly, that lifeless empty glass of water becomes electrically charged. When you drink this deeply mineralized water, the rigid walls of your aging cells instantly recognize its electrical signature. Through a biological process called cellular osmosis, the cell membranes open their microscopic gates. Instead of flushing rapidly down into your kidneys and forcing you to run to the bathroom, the water is actively pulled directly inside the cells. It hydrates you deeply from the inside out. This precise cellular absorption changes everything about your circulation because the water is now retained within your tissues and your bloodstream. Your overall blood volume safely and naturally expands. Think of a slightly deflated tire suddenly being filled to the perfect optimal pressure. As your blood volume increases, the liquid itself becomes thinner, smoother, and incredibly fluid. Your heart no longer has to strain, struggle, and pound just to push thick, viscous blood through your circulatory system. Furthermore, when you add that single squeeze of fresh lemon juice, you are providing a highly bioavailable dose of vitamin C and specific plant compounds known as flavonoids. Clinical studies consistently confirm that these citrus flavonoids act as powerful natural vasodilators. This means they biologically instruct the smooth muscle tissue lining your blood vessels to relax, soften, and gently expand. So, in one extraordinarily simple drink, you are doing two remarkable things simultaneously. You are thinning out the heavy viscosity of your blood by properly hydrating the cells, and you are widening the physical pathways of your arteries. The result is a rapid, dramatic boost in systemic circulation. This smooth, highly oxygenated blood can finally rush into those tiny capillaries that have been starved for years. It effortlessly navigates the microscopic vessels in your brain, effectively sweeping away the metabolic waste that causes afternoon brain fog. It floods into the tight, aching spaces of your knees and hands, providing the vital, slippery lubrication that prevents painful bone-on-bone grinding. You are not just drinking water anymore. You are delivering a powerful electrically charged current of healing fluid straight to the areas of your body that are crying out for relief. You are flipping the energetic switch back on. Close your eyes for just a moment and imagine the intricate network of veins and arteries inside you. For years they have been working so hard, carrying that heavy, sluggish fluid, trying to nourish your beautiful, resilient body. But without the right electrical charge, without those ancient earth-born minerals, it is like trying to push thick syrup through a delicate, winding garden hose. Over time, the inner walls of your vessels become stiff, and sticky metabolic waste begins to build up from chronic cellular dehydration. It feels exactly like a slow, quiet rusting of your joints, a painful stiffening of your hands when you first wake up in the morning, a heavy, frustrating fog settling over your memory by mid-afternoon. But when you introduce this living, electrically charged water, everything changes. Imagine a gentle, warm, and powerfully rushing river suddenly sweeping through those dried-out, thirsty channels. As this smooth, highly oxygenated blood begins to flow freely, it acts like a soothing internal bath. It is quite literally washing the rust from your arteries, clearing away decades of stagnant cellular debris. The scientific process of vasodilation opens the pathways while the mineral-rich fluid effortlessly flushes out the toxins that cause systemic inflammation. As this vibrant river reaches your lower back, your hips, and your knees, it delivers a rush of pure hydrating oxygen. The dry, aching friction in your joints is finally bathed in the slippery, healing synovial fluid it has been begging for, easing that sharp bone-on-bone pain that makes it so hard to simply stand up and greet the day. It flows down into your cold, tired feet and reaches into your stiff fingertips, bringing a beautiful, rosy warmth back to your skin. You can actually feel the circulation returning, a soft, pleasant tingling of life coming back to your extremities. And then it travels upward. As this perfectly hydrated, oxygen-rich blood reaches your brain, it washes away the heavy gray clouds of afternoon fatigue. It feels like opening a window in a stuffy, closed-off room, letting the crisp, clear breeze sweep through your mind. Your thoughts become sharper, your memory feels brighter, more accessible, and that deep, bone-weary exhaustion begins to melt away. It is like wrapping a warm, comforting blanket around your entire nervous system, calming the quiet physical stress of chronic dehydration, and allowing your body to finally sigh with profound, lasting relief. Tomorrow morning, before the rest of the house wakes up, you will begin this simple restorative protocol. Pour 8 to 10 ounces of room temperature or slightly warm water into your favorite glass. Do not use ice-cold water, as it abruptly shocks your delicate digestive system and instantly restricts your blood vessels. Next, take a small pinch of raw, unrefined salt. Authentic Celtic sea salt or pink Himalayan salt are perfect choices because they retain their natural earthborne minerals. You only need a tiny amount, roughly the size of a large peppercorn or 1/8 teaspoon. Drop it into the water. Finally, take a fresh lemon and squeeze one small wedge, about a teaspoon of the juice, directly into the glass. Stir the water gently until the salt completely dissolves. Drink this beautifully charged elixir on an empty stomach at least 15 minutes before your morning coffee or breakfast. This is the crucial window when your cells are most receptive to hydration. Now, I want you to close your eyes and imagine what the next 7 days will feel like as you embrace this gentle morning ritual. On the very first morning, as this living water travels down your throat, your thirsty cells will recognize it instantly. You might notice a subtle, immediate lift in your energy, a gentle clearing of that heavy morning fog that usually takes hours to shake off. By day 3, you will likely notice a beautiful change in your hands and feet. That familiar icy chill will begin to fade, replaced by a comforting natural warmth as the newly oxygenated blood finally reaches your delicate capillaries. And as you reach day 7, you will wake up with a quiet, joyful realization. The deep, nagging ache in your lower back, that sharp stiffness in your knees as you first step out of bed, will feel wonderfully softer, far more forgiving. You will find yourself walking to the kitchen with a much lighter step, no longer dragging a tired, deeply dehydrated body through the motions of your day. And perhaps the most beautiful gift of all, instead of waking up at 2 in the morning to use the bathroom, you will sleep deeply and soundly through the night. Your body will stop flushing water away, and finally hold on to the precious moisture it desperately needs. You are simply giving your beautiful aging engine exactly what it has been quietly begging for. Think back for a moment to a time when life felt just a little bit simpler, perhaps a cherished memory of your grandmother's kitchen early in the morning. I can still clearly picture the soft golden sunlight spilling across the worn wooden table, the quiet, comforting hum of the stove, and the gentle, knowing way she moved. Whenever someone in the house felt weary, cold, or simply worn down by the heavy burdens of the day, she did not rush to a medicine cabinet filled with brightly colored synthetic pills. Instead, she reached for the earth, a pinch of coarse salt, a fresh slice of lemon, a warm, soothing cup of water. She did not know the complex cellular science of lipid bilayers or the biological mechanics of electrical conductivity, but she possessed a deep intuitive ancestral wisdom that modern medicine is only just beginning to humbly rediscover. She knew in her heart exactly how to care for the people she loved. You carry that exact same profound wisdom inside of you right now. Your beautiful body is not broken, and you are not destined to simply fade into the shadows of fatigue. Your body is simply asking you to remember, to return to the gentle earth-given remedies that have nourished and sustained human beings for thousands of years. As you hold that warm glass of living water tomorrow morning, feeling the heat seep into your palms, I want you to feel a deep, reassuring sense of peace. You are doing something incredibly beautiful for yourself. You are actively choosing to wash away the exhaustion, to gently soothe the stiffness in your hard-working joints, and to invite a vibrant, rushing river of life back into your precious heart. True healing does not always have to be a painful, complicated, or expensive struggle. Sometimes, the most powerful medicine in the world is also the absolute gentlest. If this message brought you comfort today, or if you remember a cherished natural remedy from your own childhood, I would be absolutely honored to hear your story. Please take a quiet moment to share your precious memories or tell me how you feel after trying this morning ritual for a few days in the comments below. We are walking this beautiful path of peaceful longevity together, and your shared experience might be the exact spark of hope another soul desperately needs to read today. Until we meet again, please be incredibly gentle with yourself. Drink deeply of the earth's living water, and may your days be filled with lasting warmth, sharp clarity, and abundant pain-free movement.